Hello and welcome to this tutorial video on the Breeze mainboard. We will start with the bottom cover removed as well as the two front landing gear. The first step is to remove each of the four motor wire connectors. We will now remove all the connectors on the main board. First we'll remove the GPS connector, followed by the power button. In this instance, the compass connector has been ripped from the main board. If your compass connector is still there, disconnect that at this time. Next, we'll remove the four rubber dampers from the main board. Do this by slightly lifting up on the main board and pressing the rubber damper down. As you can see here, he lifts it up, brings some tension to the rubber dampers, and uses his finger to push the rubber damper out of the frame. Repeat this for the other three dampers. Slightly lift the main board, but being careful not to lift it too high as there are still wires attached to the bottom of the main board. You'll notice the two antenna wires and the main power connector is still attached to the airframe. Start by removing the main power connectors using a Phillips screwdriver. Remove the two screws that secure the main power connector to the main cabin. Loosen the main power connector away from the main cabin. Our next step is to remove the antennas through the rotor arms. Do this by lining them up so they fit down the arms and pulling on the antenna wire softly. You do not want to pull very hard as this could rip the antenna wire off of the antennas themselves. Keep playing with the antenna wire until the antenna is free from the main cabin. Once the antennas have been removed, the main board is free from the main cabin. We will now need to remove the main board from the heatsink. Do this by first removing the main camera as well as the jumper wire that leads to the Wi-Fi board. Next, we'll remove the two screws that hold down the optical flow camera. You don't need to completely remove these, just loosen them enough to slide the tabs around. Lift up on the optical flow camera and disconnect it from the main board. We will now need to remove 5 screws that secure the main board to the heatsink. When removing the 5 screws, you may notice some silicone is inside the screw hole. Using a pick tool, remove this silicone and proceed to remove the 5 screws. Once the 5 screws have been removed, you can simply lift up on the main board and guide the wires from the main power connector through the heat sink. You are now finished